Now in the fourth year of Russia's special military operation in Ukraine, Moscow's military, which was once dismissed as outdated and inflexible, is rapidly closing the technological gap with Kyiv. This shift poses an increasing threat to NATO, especially as some Western tech companies indirectly contribute to Russian advancements. This evolution didn't happen overnight. Oleksandr Yakovenko, CEO of TAF Drones, a major Ukrainian drone manufacturer, explained, "2 years ago, we were 2 steps ahead of the Russians, but now we are just 1 step ahead." Ukraine's progress has been further hampered by export restrictions from China, triggered in part by former U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war with Beijing, affecting Ukrainian access to critical drone components. Technological superiority has helped Ukraine stay in the fight and prevent major Russian breakthroughs. Ukraine's domestically built long-range drones have targeted Russian oil refineries, and its drone navy neutralized about 1/3 of the Black Sea fleet, forcing the rest to retreat. The country is now building a drone wall to defend against Russia's continuous attacks. Ukraine's former top general, Valery Zaluzhny, described this as creating a 10 to 15 kilometer zone of continuous death in front of the front line. Despite this, Ukraine's edge is narrowing. By 2024, Russia had begun deploying fiber-optic drones at scale, becoming the first to do so, while Ukraine struggled to catch up. "The enemy is using fiber-optic drones more extensively than we are," said Ukrainian MP Roman Kostenko. In December 2024, a Ukrainian news outlet called Fiber-optic drones the new gold of the front. One Ukrainian commander predicted that 2025 would be the year of fiber-optic drones. These drones use ultra-thin cables to transmit high-quality video and remain immune to electronic warfare. The fiber-optic line automatically unspools during flight, maintaining maneuverability even if it snags. Unlike radio-controlled drones, which can lose signal due to trees or terrain, fiber-optic drones maintain uninterrupted communication. Ground robots using this technology are already in service. In joint operations with North Korean forces, fiber-optic drones enabled Russian troops to push Ukrainian forces from much of the Kursk region by attacking flanks and narrowing Kyiv's supply routes. Despite countermeasures like tunnel nets and barriers, these drones, capable of hitting targets through narrow gaps, remain effective. Demand is rising quickly. Digital Transformation Minister Mikhailo Fedorov reported that at least 15 Ukrainian manufacturers are working on fiber-optic drones, with 20 more producing the required cable coils. Yet Russian models are superior, recently destroying a Ukrainian HIMARS system. Their drones can identify artillery up to 10 kilometers away, even through tree lines, inflicting severe casualties according to Andriy Horetsky of Ukraine's 26th Artillery Brigade. Samuel Bendit of the Center for a New American Security noted that Russia's growing use of fiber-optic drones has narrowed the technological gap. "This war is about breakthrough solutions," he said, emphasizing the importance of integrated systems. These drones can ambush from roadside positions and are hard to trace back to their operators, especially now that battlefields are cluttered with fiber-optic wiring. While autonomous drones were expected to dominate, both sides now rely more on simpler, reliable tools like wired drones. Russia's edge is amplified by industrial support from China, which manufactures 80% of the world's fiber-optic supply. Russian state finances allow it to scale production, while Ukraine still depends heavily on volunteer efforts. Kyiv has launched long-range drone strikes on Russia's only fiber-optic cable plant in Saransk, 60 kilometers from the border. However, Ukrainian drones lag in both range and effectiveness. Only 10 to 30% of Ukrainian drones hit targets at 15 kilometers, compared to 80% success at 20 kilometers for Russian models. Russia uses more advanced transmitters and digital cameras, while Ukraine relies on cheaper analog components. Russian drones use thicker cables that are harder to break. These unjammable drones target electronic warfare systems and air defenses, clearing paths for other drones and infantry. A Ukrainian source called them a modern version of anti-tank guided missiles. However, foliage in summer will make spotting targets harder, benefiting Russian infantry. Russia is refining a strategy that includes using tree cover, motorcycles for rapid assault, and combining fiber-optic and radio drones to strike thinly defended positions. Moscow has effectively paired glide bombs with drones and war of attrition tactics. Maria Berlinska, head of Ukraine's Air Intelligence Support Center, warned, "We lasted more than 3 years." But these solutions are increasingly being bypassed by systemic, monumental scientific projects of joint Russian-Iranian-Chinese engineering teams. These solutions could soon be used against U.S. allies in the Taiwan Strait, the Philippines, or South Korea. Berlinska stressed the need for a national strategy for military tech development, saying volunteer-driven efforts are no longer sustainable. Ukraine's risks are rising. U.S. military aid is uncertain, Vladimir Putin is increasingly emboldened, and Donald Trump continues to resist sanctions, leaving the Kremlin with a strategic advantage. Ukraine now faces growing dangers in key areas like Pokrovsk and Kostiantynivka as Russia eyes the rest of Donbas. Trump may think this isn't his war, but it could become America's problem. While he plays politics, the Kremlin mocks him and ignores his demands. Putin views Western weakness as essential for Russia's progress. Every delay strengthens Russia and its allies, particularly China, which benefits from the knowledge sharing. The U.S. must act, starting with tough economic sanctions. A former Ukrainian officer known as Tatarigami wrote that unless Russia suffers economic collapse or defeat, it will emerge with a military more advanced than in 2022. Retired Australian Army Major General Mick Ryan emphasized that sanctions not only pressure Russia economically but also mentally, forcing it to waste time and energy on workarounds. But without linked sanctions on enablers like China, the effect diminishes. The stakes are global. Russian tech could empower the Houthis to threaten Red Sea shipping, support Iran's axis of resistance, or even help North Korea attack South Korea. With continued Western components and Chinese support, Russia is becoming more dangerous. If Europe doesn't rearm quickly, Moscow may test NATO by staging military drills near the Suwalki corridor, threatening escalation to extract political concessions. Estonia could be targeted next with warnings that Poland will follow if NATO responds. The crucial question remains: will Europe be ready when that time comes?